So my name is John Fossbender, and we're going to be doing the DNA matrix class / Q&A session.
Sir. What's wrong, Zahavi? I noticed some of your girls are now using the men's trenches during air raid practice.
Oh, Carolyn had to mute you there for a second. I'm going to be using Family Tree Maker, but you can use any genealogy program you want, even Ancestry. You just have to continually download GEDCOMs as you change your tree. To do the DNA matrix, I'm going to, I'm going to start sharing my screen here. So you have your tree here. This is Family Tree Maker. And now in Family Tree Maker, to put, you first need a match file. And let me just go to Ancestry here. I'm primarily going to concentrate on Ancestry. If someone wants stuff from different websites, that's definitely a possibility. So here's my match files on Ancestry. So here's like my mother. You know, if you know anything about centimorgans, that's how much DNA you share. Click on it, and it can tell you, okay, here's the possible relationships down with my siblings and nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, various cousins. Now you can you have to create a match file, and so you can either just manually create one. Let me just create an Excel file here, or let me just do it here. So you need a kit 1. Kit 1 is generally the test taker. 2, that's who you match. And then it'll be your centimorgans. So that's the minimum information you need. And now what you put here, if you're manually creating one, it really doesn't matter. So back to my match file here. Well, this Janice, that's my mom. So I mean, if I want to, I could just say, okay, I can just say, okay, John F., that's me. And then here's my mom. And we share 3,476 centimorgans. So I can just do it that way. Let me just do one more. So my sister Lori, we share 2648. So I'll go over here. So it's me again, my sister Lori, and it was, and I already forgot, 2648. 2648. So, I mean, and you can just go on, and this is for people you know. Now, when we save this, we need to save it into a comma separated or comma delimited file, or a CSV file. So we save that. Do we want to keep it in that format? Yes. Okay, now I have to add in these hooks because Chart Companion doesn't really know who John F. is. It doesn't know who Mom is. It doesn't know who Lori is. So I have to tell it in here. Now, Family Tree Maker, Ancestry, they have a built-in fact called DNA markers. So just to make it easy, down here, I'm going to customize my view, and I'm going to add the DNA markers fact. So right down here. So it just makes it easy to add. I mean, I could go here to my person tab, click on DNA, and then enter it. But it's just quicker, you know, just to have it here. So for me, I got to put in me. So John F. whatever you use, it just has to be the same. So this is how now Charting Companion will be able to match my John F to this match file. And so now for my mom, I just put in, okay, mom. And then for my sister Lori down here, I just put in Lori. So what I put in here just matches the test, what I created for this kit file. So now I'm going to launch Charting Companion. Let me use the 8, 7 works the same. Oh, I forgot one thing. It's just easier if you be on the person that you want to start the chart from. So I'm going to start it from my mom. And then I'm going to go into the charts. It will be the DNA matrix. And you can set all your settings the way you want, content, the layout. I generally like the spouse below. It just makes it a little bit easier. You can set, how the box, the color, you can use the Family Tree Maker colors. The big thing now here is DNA matrix. You have to tell it, okay, use the DNA matrix, and then you need to tell it where your match file is. That's under documents. I put that here, and here's the test match file. Now this one said internal, so it recognized it. Now, if it was something different, it would say, if it didn't recognize your category headings, it would say, okay, an unknown, and then you'd have to go through and map it. There is a guide on how, in the group, on how to map them. It basically goes down to view. You view the file, and then you assign the kits up here, So, but it recognizes these, so you don't have to worry about it. But anyway, okay, I don't need to anonymize. It's generally a good thing, just display with the DNA kits only. You can have it show the relationship and the probability of that relationship, and all you gotta do is hit preview then. And then, so, okay, here's my mom, my dad, here's my sister and me. And so how this reads is, Lori matches me. She's my sister at 2648. My mom matches me at 3476. So it goes like that. Now, if I wanted to go to and add, okay, how much Lori and my mom match, which will be similar. Let me view my mom's matches. Okay, there's Lori. She matches Lori at 3476 or 3471. So then I'll put, okay, now mom matches Lori at 3471. You can just keep adding them on into the same file. And then likewise, we save this. Let's see, I might have to change something. This may not, yeah. Since I didn't change, it didn't reread the match file. So I'm going to just get out, go back in. And preview it. Okay, so now it shows, okay, Lori 3471 matches her mother. She matches me at 24648, and my mom matches me 3476. So you can just go on and on like this. Manually editing them if you want. I find that tedious. So there are utilities. I'm going to close this. There's a program. There's there are two programs that can download your match data. There's this DNA Match Manager, which this program is tough to find because the company, they decided, well, we're not going to be doing this anymore. But it is my favorite for the simple reason, you go through, tell the sites. There's no reason to use 23andMe, MyHeritage, or Family Tree DNA because you can download your matches from those sites directly. GEDmatch it no longer works with. And there is a little twerk, like the United States will usually throw an error, so I'll tell it to do Canada. And your Ancestry login works the same for all 4 of these websites. So if you get an error right away, just switch to a new site. It'll have you log in. I've already logged in. And then you can have it download your kits. You can specify the minimum centimorgans. And then we'll see, I've got like 36 kits here. So this is why I like it, is that it can download all 36. Now I'm not going to download, because to download just one kit probably takes about a half hour. To download all these, it takes about 14 hours. But then it will create a file, one file. It'll look like a Match Manager export. This is for when it did work with GEDmatch. And then I wrote a little utility that will split it into these individual files. So I'm going to just take a look at my match file here. And now this match test ID, this is how Ancestry actually knows these test takers. This is how it knows my mom. Go over here, you see this Ancestry source test ID. This is the same. Well, this is me. This is how Ancestry knows me. So to do that, for this is me, I'd go into my, oh, that's right, I've got to close Charting Companion. This is me, so I'm actually going to put in that. I'm not going to use that custom match file. So for my mom, I can just go, okay, so here's my mom now. I can go over there. I copy, so there's my mom in the DNA. There I can copy that info. And likewise, I can go into these others. Okay, here's my brother Kurt. I can enter in my brother Rod, never tested. My sister Dawn, there's that. Sister Lori. Oh, I can just put that in. And I mean, I can just go down, keep going down. I mean, my aunts, uncles, cousins, Evelyn, all goes down to this is the first person. I have no idea who this person is, but and just keep adding them. Now, when I go into Charting Companion, I go into the chart. And I'm going to just get rid of this match file. Remove. Documents. So, and there's my match file. And while I'm going to just go through and actually add all of these, just because I can, and it recognizes that that's an heirloom file. So now when I preview this, and now it's loading in a lot more of the match file details. And I'll do this, and then so now it shows, okay, Kurt is my mom's son, half brother, because different husbands for my sister, and this is basically how we all match. If no, does anyone have any questions on this so far?
John, I got two questions related to what you just covered.
Okay.
When you started using this program, the DNA Match Manager, the default that looked like it came up was said match anyone, a minimum CM of 10. Where would you recommend we start with?
Well, me, I actually do it all the way down to 6 because I want all the match data, even though the vast majority, I don't know who they are. You do sometimes get surprising information. I'm going to bring up this one DNA chart. Charts. Now this is kind of big. I'm going to zoom in here. So that's my grandma right there. Now let's see, I need to get to my cousin. Okay. Now this cyan bar, this tells the people that are test takers. So, you know, so here's my mom. Now this is my mom's first cousin, Eileen. And now, and this down below here is Leo. Now, Eileen hasn't tested. Well, she passed away in 1997. Her husband, Leo, did. And you can go down to these lines and you can see, you know, he matches like his granddaughters. Now right here, and these are Tabitha, Preston, and Sarah Rose. They're my second cousins once removed. I'm second cousins with their fathers. But now this is Leo. We follow this line all the way down. Now here, all of a sudden, you start seeing some, like, here's some small matches. Now 13-6, now he's not my second. This is how he matches me, 13 centimorgans. So it's like, technically I shouldn't be related to him, but I am. Matches another one of my siblings at 16 centimorgans. This, yeah, he matches my mom at 13 centimorgans. And this is my brother. So somewhere, you know, our lines do match up, you know, but both my paternal lines head straight to Norway, and Leo was only the second person of my testing. Yeah, his ethnicity came up 100% Norwegian. I mean, no. He's the only second person where he's only 100% of anything, and so somewhere I am related to Leo. I just don't know how. But this is why I do download all the match data, just because you can find little surprising things like this. And I've got other stuff on other lines, you know, where my sister-in-law is related to someone on my father's side, my grandfather's side. So it, so I just download them all, because then that way you have them. Okay. So.
And then John, the second part, and then I'll go back on mute, was the DNA Match Manager. You said that was hard to find, the easiest to use, but hard to find. Was there other ones that you've used and been successful?
Now, I do have the Windows version of this, the install file, and I can put it in the chat. Because I still do have this install file. But it's like there'll be no more updates, and because like I said, it worked fine with GEDmatch until GEDmatch made their change. Well, this program isn't ever going to get updated. So the other program is DNA GEDCOM client. Yeah, right here. Now this is a paid program. I mean, it's free to download, but it's a subscription where it's $5 a month or $50 a year. And this can download from, well, like I said, 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, MyHeritage. You don't really need to. I mean, this will funnel stuff into their GDAT program. I forget what it stands for. So if you do use that, and it is a very powerful program, I just haven't had time to get into it. But you can download from Ancestry. You log in, and then basically I'm going to just stop sharing the screen real quick while I log in. Oh, that's right. It uses the web login again. Oh, okay, this one doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, Ancestry changes stuff and this program changes. So you log into your Ancestry account and okay. Okay, and then this one, you then select which kit you want to download. So you download one kit at a time. And then you just tell it to gather DNA data. And then you will get a file. Well, this is from some of my distant cousins. You're gonna get a file similar to like this. The layout's a little different, but it's going to be the same thing. You know, here's the test ID. That's the person who took it. And then this is the matches. So, I mean, these numbers are the same. So, you know, yeah, so here I am. So yeah, see, so this number is still the same. That's 31cc. If we look here, now let me close. This 31cc, see this number is still the same. Oh, I match. This is, I mean, this Ruby, this is my dad's fourth cousin. So, and then so these are her 4 kids, and then so they're my 5th cousins. So I mean, the layout's going to be a little bit different, but it understands these files formats too. And to get that program, you just go to well, actually, I've got a bookmark somewhere. Just do a search for DNA GEDCOM client, and yeah, DNA GEDCOM. So you can just download it. They've got the Windows or the Mac version, but it does require a subscription. So you create a login, and then yeah, then so Yeah, so it's $5 a month or $50 a year. So if you just want to download them once, see how you like it, you know, maybe just sign up just for a month and download them. You just won't be able to get any new matches after that. And the only difference between silver and gold is gold, you know, basically you're just help funding their development more. The silver, you kind of cover their costs. The gold subscriber, I mean, it gives you the same functionality. You're just basically supporting them more. So, oh, and it does let you run it on multiple clients. So yeah, you do have that added benefit. So, because like I said, with downloading 36 kits, you have to do it one at a time. So you have to wait. Where with 36, you could start it up on multiple computers, and so you could get 2, 3, 4 downloading at once. So those are the two where you can download them, and that's kind of what I recommend. I can go, let me, if you do want, they did, I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to put the link in the chat box. So this is for that DNA Jet, the DNA Match Manager. So you can download it straight from my Dropbox. It's Windows only. They did make a Mac version. So if any of you are Mac users, but at the time I didn't have one, so I never bothered downloading it. So if you know anyone that does have a Mac installer, let me know and I can add it to my Dropbox. But this one it's a free program and it works great. So so I'd recommend using that one first. But like I said, if you do use that GDAT program, because that's part of well, that's part of another thing. I mean, this program, it will gather more information. It can gather the trees in common with files. It takes a long time, but then it funnels that program information into this other program. But Charting Companion doesn't use that. So, but like I said, it is a tool to use it. So you can use either one of those programs. They work and they work well. And then I just download, even if I'm not really working on my matches, I still every month I download my match files. And that's because when I do start working on it, if I start, you know, looking on dates, you know, there might be some, you know, where I might have a new close match that, well, these are all, let me just look at common ancestors. Okay, here's one. I don't know this. I'm just taking a look at the matches. Okay, I'd have to work on to see if that's actually true or not. But Steenie, I mean, I definitely recognize that surname. But let's just say, you know, I did have a close match and say, oh yeah, I actually know who that person is, Sandra Miller. I think that's because I know other Millers that have it. And let's just say, yes, I do know this person and I know her mother and her grandfather was at, then I could add her into my tree. And if you, let me just go back to this match file. Sandra Miller. Now, if you click on it, it kind of comes up with this URL. And if you notice, it says, okay, it comes up with a match, you know, discovery matches, compare. Okay, so C5111. Now this, I think we're on my mom's match file. And we go to here, see my mom. My mom is a C517B number. And then it says the match. Okay, so now here's this 572. So now this is how Ancestry knows this Sandra Miller. So I'm going to just copy that. And I'm going to just say, okay, let's just say, oh, I didn't want that. Let's just say, I'm going to just add the Sandra Miller. So, okay, Albert T. Steeney. This person is in my tree because the evaluate's not on it. So let me go to him. Yeah, there's Albert T. And okay, a woman. Okay, so it's from a daughter. Yeah, so it might even be, okay, it's not her. Not her. Let me scroll this up. Well, let's just say, for argument's sakes, I know her mother was Darlene. I don't know right now. This is just my test tree. So, and let's just also say I know that Miller is her maiden name. So, okay, so she married Miller.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I turned off sharing. Okay, so here's this Albert T. Steeney in my tree. And let's just say I know, okay, it is Darlene. And likewise, let's just say I know Miller is her maiden name. Some women put their married name. And like I said, I don't know for sure who she is. I'm going to just say, yes, I do. I do know her, and I know for a fact she is my third cousin. So I'd add in the spouse. So then here's Sandra Miller. You probably didn't get that, understand this match file then. Because where I looked at Sandra Miller's. Yeah, so in this URL, it says, okay, compare the C51 blah blah blah. And this is my mom's match file. And so that is the number that was on her for my you know, here's my mom's match ID. So it's like, and I've got that on here. And then continues on with, okay, so now this 5722, that is how Ancestry knows this Sandra Miller. So I can copy that information. Go in here, here's Sandra Miller. I did a typo there. And I can then I can just paste in her DNA info. And so if I go to a common ancestor, which is, yeah, Lars here. Going to DNA matrix, run the DNA matrix. And like I said, my match file, the data is already there because I just told it to download everything. Now, if I hit preview, now this is going from a third great grandfather, so this will take a little while. And then, and you will notice as you go through trees, it goes through. And so, okay, yeah, then so here it shows Janice with the Sandra that I just added. Whoops. And likewise, as you add more people, and I add and yeah, and this is oh, I know why. I limited the number of generations. Let me increase that. Let me resize. And so now, not only do we see just by adding that one, what did I do? Just by adding this one, we can also see, here's how I match her. Here's how my sister matches her, my other sister, my mom matches her, and my other brother match her. So just by, and just because I've added in all those kit numbers into it, you know, it's like, since it automatically just pulls it in. I don't have to manually figure out, go look and see, okay, how much do I match her, my siblings? So that's, and then if you're ever wondering, you know, especially if you start getting them big, you know, you can just look at it, and this will tell you, okay, this is John and Sandra, and it uses that match file. Sandra and Lori, Sandra and Dawn, and uses her match file. That's my mom's match file. That's my brother's. It tells you which match file it's actually pulling this from. And likewise, as you do, you can move stuff around. That. So you can move it, and all this percentage just say that yes, this is possible. Something could come up in red, which would say that's not possible. A quick way to do this is, let me just do a chart from my dad. Now, see, my mom was married twice. My brothers Kurt and Rod were from her first husband, but now my dad adopted them, so they're actually attached to my dad too. And this is the one thing where the DNA can get thrown for a loop. Since I did it for my mom, it recognized the two marriages. Well, my dad's only been married once. So now all of a sudden we got all this red because it's saying, okay, 15, Kurt matches to my sister, 1563, 1547. It's saying, okay, for this relationship as a brother, you know, that's out of bounds. So if your closest relative, Jan asks, if your closest relative is a first cousin, would the chart pick it up? Well, yes, but the DNA matrix is all for your known matches. So as long as you know where it is, you add the proper kit information to your first cousin and to you, then yes, it will pick that up. Now, if it's like a first cousin type match, where you know, where you're somewhere in, let me zoom in on this. First cousin match where it could be some number between 553, 553 and 1225. you know, so if it's 700, 800, so it's roughly in the first cousin range. I mean, you still have to identify it, because if, let me go here. Let's say if you got a match at 800, so yeah, it's maybe a first cousin, but there are other possibilities too. And in that case, then you'd have to use the DNA simulator to try to figure out where that person might fit. But like I said, but if you know it's your first cousin, you attach it, you start the chart from your common ancestor, then yes, it will pick it up. As long as you've entered in all the DNA information. Hopefully I didn't lose anyone there. And if anyone hasn't ever seen this, that DNA Painter, it's the shared CM tool. If you get a match and you're not really sure, well, like this 51, let's just say I don't know where she is. When actually I really don't, but you know, there's a lot of possibilities where she could fit in. Third cousin is one of them, but it could be others too. So a lot others. Once you get past the third cousin range, you see the minimum range is like 0, because it's actually possible not to match them. So there's a lot of leeway in the how much you match. So did everyone catch that, or need to go over something a little bit more? I will just go back to this one where it shows the red, because on the brother, he's actually genetically my half brother. So yeah, so now if I do this chart again from my mom, which I did before, should just take just a little bit. Yeah, see, Kurt still matches us in the 1700 range, but see, now that it knows that, yeah, I recognize my mom is the second 2 marriages, it does recognize as a half brother. If I was going to do a pure genetic tree, what I would do in here is I would actually sever the connection between him and his adopted dad. And so then, let me just go back to my dad. So then now if I did do a DNA chart, the chart will show up, but now my brother just would not be on it. So. So, yeah, so if you are working with a lot of DNA and in the simulator, sometimes it is good just to break any adoption cases. Just to have a pure genetic tree. But like I said, and that is something on the enhancement list. Pierre said that he's working on like people where they're related in multiple ways, that it can take that into account. So, but does anyone have any questions? I mean, it's all about having a match file, whether you create it yourself or you download it. And then it's like you just have to match up. You just have to match up these numbers so that Charting Companion can pick up this number and say, oh yeah, that's John Fossbender. And this one is like, oh, that's his mom, Janice. You know, this is Lori, Dawn, Kurt, you know, my cousin's uncle, aunt. It's my dad's first cousin, my mom's first cousin. That's my mom's aunt. That's a half first cousin. That one's my dad's first cousin. That's half first cousin. That's my uncle's grandson. This one I'd have to look up again, but she's like my mom's first cousin or first cousin once removed. So that's just the biggest thing. And like I said, you can create the match file yourself, and then you can assign those kits whatever you want. You just need to you just have to be consistent, and you know, you have one for yourself and for the others. Now I will just kind of go on briefly. You know, if you're on MyHeritage, you can download it directly. 23andMe, all FTDNA has the same thing, and I just want to show. You click on these three dots here, and you've got two options: export DNA match list or the shared match segments. The export shared match segments will actually give you more information. You just click on it, and then it says, okay, they'll email it to you, and it'll be a zip file. You unzip it. And I just want to point out, let me, oh, and I stopped sharing my screen again. Sorry about that. Let me go back to here. Here I'm on MyHeritage. You go into DNA matches. And then you click on here and say export the shared matches. You can do the match list or the match segments. The segments is all you need. You just click on that, and then you're going to get a thing that they'll email it to you. You're going to get an email. It's going to look something like this. You know, here's the match file. You just, it'll be a zip file. You save it and you unzip it. And now one thing you will notice now, because I put those in, just because Ancestry knows me by that one, you go to MyHeritage, and oh, guess what? Different numbers. Now this case, this basically will go by the names. This is how Ancestry will pick it up. So now, so for me, for my MyHeritage, now you can add multiple kit numbers to a person. Let me go to myself. Let me close down this. Now for this, since that one kit's there, you can't just overwrite that, because then it will just overwrite, it'll change it. So what you can do here is you can add another DNA marker fact, and then, whoops, add another DNA marker fact. And then, so I can copy that into there. So now, so here, see, now I've got two kits. That one's for Ancestry, that one's for MyHeritage. If you do GEDmatch, you're going to have another number. If you do 23andMe, you'll probably have yet another. FTDNA, the same thing. So each site, you'll likely have a different DNA markers fact for that. And if you wish to like keep track, DNA markers, I generally just tell it to be description only. You can have it do date and place, and so you could say something like, okay, this is my heritage. This is Ancestry. I mean, you could even put a date in here if you want to record when you first found this match. That's up to you. You don't have to. All Charting Companion will look is the description area, this fact. But you can do it. And then when you do this, you're going to find one other thing. Let me go back to my mom. Do this, go into the DNA matrix. And now I'm going to add yet another match file. Whoops, documents. My heritage. And so here I can load in. Now I haven't added in all those, but like I said, it's just easier to just add them all. So then, so the first thing it does when it does the DNA matrix is it will find all the match files, match data, and then okay, why didn't oh, maybe that's the same. This multi-line, why didn't that? Well, this might be a minor bug with this. Well, because yeah, this isn't picking up that match file. Oh, I know why. I know why. Never mind. And this is one of those things. I added in that DNA markers for me. I didn't add in it for my mom. So if yeah, that's how I forgot to do that. Yeah, so I never put in that mark. So now if I do this, okay, see layer mark. So I'm gonna uncheck that multi-line again. Because when you got stuff from different tests, they can overlap, and the multi-line will reduce that. And that's this, because we're getting stuff overlapping. And so now if we do this DNA chart with the multi-line, it splits that into, okay, so here's how they match. So, and here, then you even get the segment data. So that's why. So that's what that will do, because with these multi-lines, it's like, oh, okay, it's just different tests. So, and then the same thing goes, like I said, with family tree DNA, GEDmatch. So, does anyone have any questions? Well, if not, well, we'll wrap this up. And then likewise, if you have any questions, just post them. And then we'll be doing this tomorrow night too. So someone had mentioned she had never gotten a match list less than 8. That was maybe about a year or so ago. Ancestry did a change where they're not doing less than 8 anymore. So I have some kits that I'm still evaluating that I marked at, as long as you've messaged the person or you use those color codings, you could save those matches smaller than that. So that's why I still download them. Let's see, this one. Yeah, see, it's my mom. And yeah, so yeah, there are still some less than 6, you know, and like I said, some of these I may never find out who they are, but they're people that had trees and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're a recent test taker within like the past year, yeah, you won't have anything lower than 8. So oh yeah, sorry, and I didn't share my screen. Let me share it. Yeah, so there are some you can have it, but these are matches that I saved and that you had to do before the ancestry purge. So, but like I said, if you're less than a year, if you took it within a year, yeah, you won't have anything less than 8. Like my great aunt recently tested, so yeah, she doesn't have any scores lower than 8. And in that case, you could still put in 6 if you want. On that DNA match manager, it doesn't matter. Once it gets to the end, it will stop. So it's not like you put in 6 and you don't have anything lower than 8 that you won't magically get more. And some people like want to just limit, well, I really don't care about anyone less than 20. So, and that does significantly lower the amount of time to download. So anyway, well, if no one has any more questions, we'll sign off. And then just got an email, those match files from my heritage came in. So well, thank you for coming, and like I said, maybe we'll see some of you tomorrow. If not, well, I'll be around on the message boards. So we'll talk to you later, and thanks for coming. Bye.